HOA called the cops when I rode on my own lake. Now, they owe me $10 million. Have you ever been threatened with arrest while rowing in your own damn lake? Because I have. And I'll never forget the sound Karen made when she realized the water she tried to ban me from rowing on was about to cost her homeowners association $10 million. It started with a paddle and a memory. I've been rowing on that lake every morning for decades. My father taught me how to cast a line off its southern shore. My late wife and I used to sip coffee together in the middle, just drifting, listening to loons. And when I retired from the Navy and came home to the land my family's owned since 1963, the first thing I did was fix up the dock and repaint the little boat she loved. But somehow, peace doesn't sit well with people like Karen. She wasn't even a resident when I bought this land. Moved in 5 years ago. Bought a house on the bluff overlooking my property-gated community, pristine hedges, the whole smug package. Self-appointed HOA president 6 months after that. Ran the board like a dictatorship. She walked like authority and breathed like judgment. And on that particular morning, I just pushed off from the dock when I saw her lumbering toward the shoreline path in a neon pink tracksuit that looked 2 sizes too small and a frown that looked permanent. She was pointing. That finger. Always that finger. "You're not allowed to be out there," she barked. "This lake is under HOA jurisdiction now. Didn't you get the notice?" I laughed. "I own the lake, Karen," I said calmly. "And I have since before your little HOA was a typo on a city planner's desk." Her nostrils flared. "The community voted to claim shared recreational rights. You can't vote to steal a lake." She didn't like that. Not one bit. So what did she do? She called the cops. From a bluff. Right in front of me. Had the gall to say, "Yes, there's a suspicious older man trespassing and refusing to leave. He's aggressive, possibly dangerous." I was 50 feet from shore, rowing, in a flannel shirt. By the time the sheriffs arrived, I was already stepping back onto my dock with a fresh string of trout. 2 squad cars, lights flashing, clipboards in hand. Karen practically sprinted well, wobbled down to intercept them. "There, that's him. He refuses to leave our HOA lake." The deputy looked at me, then at her, then back at me. "Sir, can I ask your name?" I gave it, and when he heard it, he blinked. "Wait, are you the full title owner of Parcel 17B? I smiled. "That's me." His eyes widened. "With mineral and water rights dating back to 1963? "Correct again." He slowly turned to Karen. "Ma'am, that means this lake isn't public. And it sure isn't HOA property." Karen turned red, then white, then some shade of green I've only seen in spoiled milk. "That's impossible. We had it surveyed." "No," I said. "You Googled it. I have the county files. You have Pinterest screenshots." The second officer pulled out a tablet, opened the parcel maps. "This entire body of water is part of his deed. Fully private. Not accessible to HOA residents unless granted legal easement." Karen's voice cracked. But we voted. We built a dock." "You built a dock," I corrected, "on the eastern and Leeton land." That's when it happened. Twist number 1? The dock they built? It damaged a spawning area for federally protected trout. And I had drone footage of the whole construction bulldozers, soil dumping, concrete poured into the shoreline. No permits. No environmental impact report. Just HOA arrogance with a construction budget. Twist number 2? Their vote to claim the lake triggered a legal clause in my easement deed, one that had been dormant for years. It stated that any attempt to seize, alter, or repurpose the lake or shoreline without my consent would trigger liquidated damages to the tune of $10 million, adjusted annually for inflation. The clause had never been touched, until Karen touched it. My lawyer sent a formal complaint to the HOA board that afternoon. They dismissed it as a bluff. So we filed a lawsuit. And thanks to years of photos, tax records, and a surprise witness, an old HOA treasurer who hated Karen enough to provide internal emails, we had everything we needed. The court date was scheduled within 2 months. And Karen? She didn't go down with grace. The courtroom was packed. Local reporters, HOA residents, Even a few retired neighbors from across the lake came in, popcorn in hand like it was a public theater. And in the middle of it all, Karen sat at the defense, table overflowing in her blazer, face pale under layers of foundation, hair done like she thought appearance alone might save her. It didn't. The judge was a no-nonsense woman who'd grown up around rural property. She understood land rights. More importantly, she saw through HOA games like glass. "Let me be clear," she said after the opening statements. "You attempted to claim a privately owned lake through a non-binding community vote, built on it without permission, and now you want to deny financial responsibility because you assumed ownership based on, what? Neighborhood consensus." Karen tried to speak, but her lawyer gently pulled her back down. I stood, calm, steady, just like I learned in the Navy. "Your Honor," I said, "I didn't come here looking for trouble. I just wanted to fish." But this woman weaponized her position, misled dozens of people, and put my property at risk all for control. And that clause in the deed, it wasn't just about money. It was about protecting a legacy. The judge nodded slowly, then turned to Karen. "Do you deny that your board approved dock construction without a permit?" Karen sputtered. "We didn't realize. Do you deny this is Mr. Wilcox's lake?" "No," she admitted finally. "But I thought it was better for the community." "Better," the judge repeated. "For whom?" And that's when the final blow landed. The old treasurer stepped forward, Dean again, the hero no one expected. He handed over printouts of emails. Karen bragging about using the lake as leverage to increase property values, about how old man Wilcox doesn't know how to fight. And most damning of all, an invoice showing HOA fund were used to pay off the surveyor who drew up the false map Karen waived at the first hearing. Checkmate. The court ruled in my favor. HOA was fined $10 million, payable through forced liquidation of communal funds, Karen's personal property lien for excess damages, and immediate removal of the illegal dock with environmental restoration. Her house, sold within 2 months to cover the first half. Her title as HOA president, revoked with a lifetime ban from any future homeowner board in the state. And her reaction? She cried. Ugly cried. Collapsed in the hallway, sobbing about how no one warned her this could happen. But the thing is, she was warned. She just didn't listen. Because people like Karen don't hear signs. They only hear their own voice until it's drowned by the truth. As for the HOA, the rest of the board resigned in shame. The neighborhood voted to restructure, entirely shifting to a community committee without centralized power. More democracy, less dictatorship. And the lake? Peaceful again. I added one more sign on the dock. Jack carved it by hand with a branding iron. It reads, "Private waters disturb at your own expense." Every morning now, I row without interruption. I sip my coffee in the middle of the lake. And sometimes I see neighbors wave from the bluff, grateful, humbled, wiser. Because what Karen tried to take wasn't just land. It was history, family, stillness. And for that, the price was steep. So I leave you with this. When someone calls the cops on you for enjoying what's already yours, are you the problem? The end.